Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It is June 16th, 2024. We had a very nice weekend, and now we get ready for the heat. You can see that we did have some clouds around today. It wasn't clear like yesterday, and there was some cirrus and some jet junk mixed in. It got better toward the late afternoon, but yesterday was very beautiful, and hopefully you got a chance to see my Pine Barrens video in the Pine Barrens yesterday. Just a brief one. Today, again, we had some of these clouds around, alticumulus, some cirrus around, and then it got a little better toward the afternoon. That's when we had a little more blue sky make an appearance. So let's talk about yesterday first, because yesterday was a great day. Plenty of sunshine and highs in the upper 70s and low 80s across Long Island, more toward the mid 80s as you went into central and southern New Jersey. Yesterday, lows were generally in the mid 60s across the western parts of Long Island and further out east, especially in the Pine Barrens. You had 55 to 60. And let's look at let's go to our almanac and look at yesterday's weather, and then we'll go over today's weather and all those stuff. But let's do yesterday's first, so we get that out of the way. So yesterday at Islip, the high was 78 and the low was 64. It's just 2 degrees below normal, and we're not even going to talk about Central Park. So let's look at the weather map. You can see we have that high pressure that gave us that nice weekend, now moving into an Atlantic ridge position, which means things are going to start heating up, unfortunately for us, as we head into the week. Looking at our current conditions outside right now, we'll go to the weather and hazards map first, and you'll see here we do have a small area of severe weather, but the main story is the heat. In the east, we got excessive heat watches issued for certain areas here, so we have an excessive heat watch for Ohio into Pennsylvania, and heat advisories for Pennsylvania and the rest of much of New York. And there are also excessive heat watches in New England, and I think New Jersey is under both the heat advisory and an excessive heat watch as well. Luckily, nothing for Long Island. And out west, you can see the red flag warnings, and looks like we got a mix of different things there. Red flag warnings and wind advisories for New Mexico, and actually a good part of Arizona now. I think this includes Flagstaff as well. And then as we go into the north, you won't believe it, we have hard freeze warnings. And in fact, this is where the trough is, and even some freeze advisories, frost advisories here, and red flag warnings as well, in effect for parts of California as well. And going up into here, you can see into Oregon here, we got freeze warnings as well. Unseasonably cold air coming in to these areas, because take a look at this. Winter storm warnings in effect for the northern Rockies in June. So, very deep trough that's going to be occurring over there. That's for sure. So let's look at our current conditions outside right now and our observations. And you'll see temperatures are generally in the mid-60s. Of course, not in my alley. It's close to 70 in my alley. No surprise. It's going to get a lot hotter than that. So you can see here, generally mid-60s, though. Out in West Hampton, it's down at 57. And Jersey, generally, it looks like they're in the mid-60s, a little bit warmer over there. And you can see that sea of red covering New Jersey there with all the heat advisories. So far, nothing for New York City, nothing for Long Island. Highs today, very cool, only the mid-70s. It was a very nice, cool day today, despite a decent amount of sun, though. Like I said, it was mixed with high clouds. Cooler over Suffolk, a little bit warmer as you headed more toward Nassau County, maybe some upper 70s, but it was pretty cool today. Even in the city, highs only in the mid-70s. And Jersey as well, only mid-70s there with that easterly flow, keeping things cool. Looking at the lows, West Hampton got down to 52, 59 at Islip, 57 at Brookhaven Airport. In my area, more like 61 for lows. Of course, the alley didn't get below the upper 60s. Take a look at Miller Air Park, 48 degrees in the Pine Barrens, west of Toms River for a low. Wow. That's going from 85 to 48. That's very desert-like for you. So let's look at the day at Islip right now. 64, dew point 57. So the dew points are starting to rise a little bit. We'll start off to what it was like earlier. And you can see earlier this morning we had dew points in the upper 40s. with a light east-northeast wind, and then the wind went southeast. Dew points went up a little bit. You can see temperatures only in the 70s. A very, very, very pleasant day. Who knows when we'll see another day this cool again, at least with sunshine. Though, like I said, it was mixed with a lot of high clouds. It wasn't completely clear. So let's go to our almanac for today. Ice slip, high of 74 and a low of 59. However, yeah, only even though we were 4 degrees below normal for the high, it only has us 2 degrees below normal for the day. Central Park, only 78, high of 78, a low of 63, 1 degree below normal there, so definitely a little bit below normal, not terribly below normal, but definitely significantly below normal for the day. And compared to what we're going to be dealing with coming down the road, it's going to be get a lot worse. It's going to heat up, and I'm not looking forward to it, that's for sure. So again, we have all these heat advisories you can see in effect here, the excessive heat watches, and you'll see why when we look at the forecast. So yeah, let's just show you some satellite imagery again. I want to just go to MODIS. Actually, I want to go look at the CONUS first so you can kind of visualize what we have across the country. So you can see here what we have going on across the country. You can also see a little bit of disturbed weather over here. The Hurricane Center has an area that they're watching around the Yucatan. Back to the satellite here. Let me make this a little bit longer. So you can see you can see that the air quality is going to start going downhill. You can see the haze of that warmer air that's going to be coming into the picture as we get into this weekend. You could also see it looks like some wildfires out west already starting. So let's look at the west, because we're going to have to deal with that now. So we're going to have wildfires in the southern. This will be the southern Rockies, I guess. Yeah, we got some wildfires. You can see there's definitely some wildfire smoke. Let's see. I think this is Arizona. So I think we have some wildfires burning around Flagstaff, perhaps. And there's some in New Mexico as well. And you could sort of see some in California. I know there's one west of Los Angeles as well. So these are the conditions that they're going to be dealing with in these areas. And if we go look at Flagstaff right now, just take the shading down of this a little bit. The can't see the cities too well when they have it shaded so heavily. But you can see here. Let's go find Flagstaff. Always hard to find when you're looking in here. Because I know they had some. It's further north. This is Arizona. It's in the mountains here. See, the shading makes it hard to see. Where's Flagstaff? I can't even see it. Oh, I gotta lower this a little bit. I can't even see it. I can't see the cities. I can't read the city names. Do apologize for this. Oh, there it is. It's down here. Okay, it's not that far north. So let's see. They're at 75 dew point 21. So this is the kind of situation that they're dealing with. The dew point's only 20. The dew point's 21. The humidity's down to 13%. They've had wind gusts up to 41 miles an hour. So this is the kind of situation that they're dealing with there. It's very, very dry, very, very dry conditions. So let's take you to the MODIS satellite. And we'll take a look and see if we can see these wildfires on the MODIS as well. Can't really see them too well, but the conditions in this area are really, really bad. Very dry and windy conditions, which is not good at all. For us, you can see, all right, this is what we had today. So we had some scattered jet chunk. You can see the jet chunk around. Yesterday, we did not have the jet chunk. We were mostly sunny across Long Island. However, there was a lot of cumulus that wound up developing over New Jersey for some reason. There was just a little bit of a thermal low over there, I guess, or whatever that caused it, which is interesting. But yesterday was a very nice, mostly sunny day for Long Island. So speaking of storms, let's go to that. So you can see there's slight risk pretty much in the upper Midwest. And we'll just go into day 2 here as well. And you can see that slight risk still in the same area, upper Midwest. I'm more concerned about the fires, actually. So we're going to actually look at the fire weather outlook here, because this is where we've got to be concerned. You can see critical over northern Arizona. So Flagstaff is pretty much in ground zero for this. The thing with Flagstaff, again, it's very, very, very dry. It's the opposite. It's too dry, and that's why we're seeing this. And surrounded by elevated, so really bad situation over there for Flagstaff for sure. Things are very, very dry. And we go to the Weather Prediction Center here. We look at the amount of rain that is going to fall over the next. Let's go to QPF here. And we'll move this to day 1 through 7. You'll see pretty much no rain over the southwest and the west. Very dry. Most of the rain is going to be falling in the upper Midwest and the Gulf Coast around Texas. Even we're going to be on the dry side. So definitely a change from what we have seen in the past. So let's look at the models now and talk about what we have coming up. So let's go to the North American view and to the 250 MB wind. And you will see here that big ridge that's going to be building in the east. And you can see that trough that's in the northwest. We have a huge ridge that's going to be over us all week. So it's going to mean the heat is going to be with us. And then as we get into the following, toward the end of June, see a couple of weak troughs that do wind up moving through. But honestly, you can see that very strong ridge there that does develop, and that is definitely an impressive ridge that we're going to see, and that's going to be turning up the heat. We haven't had a ridge like this for a couple of years, so this is going to be our first real heat wave that we've had in a while. I think, depending on where you are, of course, because the wind direction is going to be a big factor, especially if you live on Long Island, and hopefully it will be in our favor to avoid the worst of the heat. Let's look at the European. I'll just look at the operational here. There's probably not much of a difference between the two, but we'll go ahead and we'll look at them. Really, there really isn't. So, not even going to bother with it. So let's look at the upper air. So you get to see our ridge grow right here. You can see our very strong ridge goes well up into eastern Canada too. You can see the trough in the west there. But by and large, there's not a whole lot of troughing going on until we get toward the final week of June. I think that's the final or next to final days of June. You'll start to see some more troughing. Start trying to redevelop in the east, but then the ridge comes back. So we'll have intermittent troughing and ridging. But the key here is that we're going to be well above normal. So let's go to the CONUS here and look at our temperature anomaly here. And meanwhile, look at the west. Very below normal in northwest. Look at that cold air. And that's going to be very dry air for the wind. But look at how much below normal that is. That's really below normal. And you can see really below normal in the Montana, North Dakota. Really, really below normal. Meanwhile, for us, you can see we are dealing with the Northeast, is dealing with the heat. And the Northeast is actually going to have the biggest temperature anomalies of all this week, you see. And then it continues into the weekend, still remaining above normal. And then we start seeing it dial back a little bit, I think, as we get toward the end of the month. But still, it looks like a lot of warmth. And it's not showing, of course, the end is showing that. I wonder if I go to the 12Z. It doesn't even show it on the 12Z. So, or it does kind of show that, yeah, the 12Z actually shows a cool down as we get toward the end. The 18Z does not show that. So we do have differences between the 12Z and the 18Z. And I guess if we go look at the upper air, I should have used the 12Z. To show you again, here's the big ridge, but the 12Z definitely has a much bigger trough that develops than the 18Z run of the GFS. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to keep the 12Z run up. Let's look at the surface. The 18Z always has a habit of just doing some weird things. So there's our ridge. You can see our ridge right there. We'll play both of them. Meanwhile, you see this could be our first tropical storm right here, possibly affecting Texas, and that could bring a lot of rain over there. It looks like there's another little wave that comes into Florida as well down here. Look at that. That's kind of interesting. So that could be the second storm right there. You know, for us, we're in the heat ridge pretty much. Could be thunderstorm chances inland, but I don't think we'll see any really decent chances for storms maybe until we get toward Sunday with this cold front approaching. And again, this brings a cold front through Sunday and the Monday, and then brings relief and a cool down. And you see here again, look at that big high that comes on down here, and really is a really major cool down for the end of the month here. This is the 12Z run. The 18Z run is not going to show that. So the 18Z run, again, looks pretty similar until we get toward that last period where you don't see that big high building down. All right. Instead, you see more of a ridge. So whichever one is right. In the long range, it's going to be really hard to tell. But what's very interesting here is you see the little blue over here. Yep, snow in the mountains. In the mountains of Montana. And, yeah, that area right there. So kind of interesting to see that. That can happen. There must be something to see, though. I'm sure that you have to be pretty high up to experience it. But interesting nonetheless, for sure. So, and you can see the southwest remains bone dry. All right, so that's the problem. The whole west coast remains bone dry, and that's going to be a problem as with the wildfires that are going to develop over there. Let's take a closer look at our area now. Let's go to the HRRR model. 0Z run of the HRRR. Here we go. Obviously, that high moves offshore. We're not going to see any precipitation in our area. Yes, there could be isolated showers and thunderstorms way upstate, but not for our area. We will be dry, from rain, but the humidity will be on the rise. So let's look at our dew points and wind flow. The winds are from the south, and you'll see the dew points come up into the 60s tomorrow. The humidity won't be terrible, but as we get into Tuesday, you can see the humidity starts rising. But we still have that south-southwesterly flow. And that as long as we have that south-southwesterly flow, that'll keep Long Island from getting the worst of the heat that Jersey will wind up getting. So tonight, it's probably, depending on where you are, it'll probably drop. Probably maybe out east you'll see 50s, but I think a lot of us probably see low 60s tonight for lows. And then tomorrow, we start heating up. Jersey well into the 80s, probably upper 80s there. And the city probably mid-80s. And for us here at Nassau, probably be low to mid-80s for highs. Suffolk County will be low 80s. And, of course, there'll be a sea breeze on the south shore to keep things cooler. Temperatures don't drop back that much at night because we're in a humid air mass. And then Tuesdays when we really start the heat. And you'll see Jersey's in the 90s. Much of Jersey in the 90s, except maybe right along the shore. The city will probably be trying to get close to 90. And Long Island, mid to upper 80s probably as we get into Tuesday. Let's go to the GFS next. So GFS does take us more of a ways out. So here's the GFS, and you'll see here that we have, again, that southerly flow. Wednesday, it tries to become a little more southwesterly on Wednesday, and it starts southwesterly, but then it backs again to the south. So it shows there's the dew points right there. So the dew points, not terrible dew points, but it'll be humid. It won't be crazy humidity, but it'll definitely be on the humid side. And then, again, Thursday, same deal. Kind of starts off, and then the sea breeze kind of pushes the winds back to the south-southwest as we get toward the afternoon. And then Friday is more of a southwesterly flow. That day could be a little bit warmer, and you see it also getting more humid as well. And then going into the weekend, no relief. We're still in the southerly flow here Saturday. Sunday, now we're really in a southerly flow and some deep humidity. And then we get this front coming through around Monday. That would be so we have a whole week of this until we get toward Monday into Tuesday, and then we start seeing the dew points come down again by Tuesday of next week. So let's look at temperatures on the GFS. The temperatures, and you can see things start heating up. So the general thing here is keeping in the 90s over inland areas. Long Island's mainly in the 80s. This is Wednesday. And then Thursday, maybe the North Shore gets close to 90. Maybe my area will get close to 90. But Jersey, Jersey's going to be the place to avoid. This is a big reason why I don't want to wind up in New Jersey. And then Friday is the day when we have more of a southwesterly flow. And if there's more of a westerly component, then our area here, western Long Island, could see low 90s perhaps. As we get more of the heat off New Jersey, the sea breezes would be more limited to the immediate South Shore. And let's go into the weekend here. Look at how the weekend Jersey just roasts into the mid to upper 90s, maybe even 100 degrees possible in Jersey, perhaps one of those days here Saturday. And then Sunday, finally, we start to see it start cooling down Monday, we see the front coming through. So we're still mid to upper 80s. And then finally, behind the front, it's not really that cool behind the front. We're still dealing with temperatures well into the 80s on Long Island, maybe mid to upper 80s and maybe near 90 in Jersey. And look at that. We heat right back up again. We do it again on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So, yeah, the whole rest of the, oh, my gosh, look at this. Saturday. This is crazy. Now, here's the 18Z. Here's the 12Z. So you see what we're up against. There's just too much volatility. But if this 18Z is right, we are going to be in for a scorcher. I hope it's not, because look at this. Hundreds? Oh, this is going to be bad. Meanwhile, if we look at the 12Z, it's not like that at all. What does the 0Z have? 0Z doesn't even have it. So, yeah, the 18Z is a wonky run of the long range. That's why I don't like using it. We do have the European AI, which I guess we could see what the AI has up here. Let's see if it's showing that crazy heat that the other model is. It's not showing it. It seems like the 18Z is really the one that's really pumping it through, and the others are not. So hopefully the 18Z is just being a little wonky. But we got to deal with this heat wave before we can talk about the next one. So let's go and look at our obviously precipitation. We're not going to see much of that, obviously. We'll go back to GFS here, and we'll look at radar, and you'll see here. All right, we got to go way back over here. Okay, so dry Monday, dry. There's really not a whole lot going on here. So you can see how dry things are going to be. It's not until we get towards Sunday that we'll have some chances for. So we have a whole week pretty much where we're going to see very little chances of rain. Which is why it's important we got that rain a couple of days ago back on Friday night. So let's go to the let's talk skies, I guess, obviously. There will be sunshine, but you'll see there'll be various amounts of cirrus and jet chunk and possibly haze around all week. So if you're looking for nice blue skies, you're probably not going to get that until we get toward maybe next week. We'd have to wait until next week, perhaps. Probably not going to see that with this kind of hot air mass. We usually don't. But let's go to a higher resolution model here. This is the RGEM. And you see, again, various levels of cirrus around. Maybe more in the morning, less in the afternoon. Same thing for Tuesday. It looks like it's pretty thinner, but again, could have a lot of jet chunk around. And then same deal Wednesday as well. So, when you enter an air mass like this, haze, jet chunk, the way the sky looks, it looks pretty gross. You don't usually get a nice blue sky with an air mass like this. Sometimes it happens, but it usually doesn't. So let's look at the Climate Prediction Center. I guess we go to CPC next. So here we go. No surprise here. We'll go to the 6 to 10 day. Above normal, actually, for the whole country right now. And the 6 to 10 day has above normal in the east. Pretty much the whole country with really good chances in the east and the southwest as well. Precipitation, it actually has us above normal, which is very interesting because the models don't really show that much rain coming. Very interesting on the 6 to 10 day. Well, this is for next week. So next week could be wetter is what they're hinting at. And then 8 to 14 day precipitation, we're slight chance of above normal, not a really great chance, but the temperature is well above normal. So that's what we're looking at right now, pretty much. So we'll have to see how it pans out. We have disagreements in the models in the long range, and of course, they seem to be going with the 18Z run, I guess, of the GFS, what they're pretty much showing here. And again, we're going to show the GFS here and the precipitation, total accumulated precip, and we'll just run this right along here. So you see where that tropical system impacts the Texas Gulf Coast there. The rest of the country fairly dry except for the upper Midwest and that Texas area. And then you can start seeing areas north of us start getting some rain as you get into Sunday. That kind of winds its way going to our area. And then really not showing a whole lot of rain for us. It's mainly inland. So that would probably be like convective type thunderstorms probably from that. Well, I gotta tell you, I hope that the I hope that 18Z GFS is not right. So let's go to Ventus Sky. We're going to visualize things a little bit here, a little bit better for you as far as the heat goes and the temperatures. So I'll just put this at 2 o'clock to show you. This is today. We go into tomorrow. You see, again, you see that southerly flow, really keeping Long Island cool while it's much hotter inland. Tomorrow really won't be that bad. It's when we really start cranking up the heat. Here we are on Tuesday. That you see temperatures now reaching the 80s in a lot of Long Island, except out east or on the South Shore. Well, Jersey, you're getting close to 90 degrees. Wednesday, here we are at Wednesday. Temperatures, again, the southwesterly flow, Long Island not doing too bad. But Jersey definitely now starting to be in the 90s. Thursday, that's when we start seeing more 90s in Jersey here. And for Long Island, generally see that southwesterly flow. More of a southwesterly flow on Thursday, so again, South Shore really is the best place to go. South Shore is always the best place to go, and now it'll really be the best place to go. You know, if you look up north, look at how hot it is in Boston. They're going to be even hotter, mid-90s, because the strength of the ridge is going to be even stronger over there. Friday is the day we're going to have more of a westerly flow, and that's the concern, is that's the day I think we're going to have a chance to see some 90-degree temperatures on Long Island. And then Jersey's still going to roast. Look at it, showing 100, perhaps, near Toms River. Saturday, Long Island sees a bit more of an improvement, more of a sea breeze. But look at Jersey, a roasting west wind. How about 100 degrees for Ocean County? Yeah, that's what it's showing. Oh boy. So yeah, that's why I don't want to be there. And then Sunday, same deal. It's showing very hot conditions over. This is showing using the Icon model, by the way, but it's still showing a lot of heat over Jersey. Long Island definitely seeing less heat. Monday, this is the Icon, so this is the cold front coming through. Right now it's shifted to the GFS. This is the cold front coming through. And then Tuesday, you can see the cold front really brings somewhat cooler air, but not that much cooler air. And I kind of want to visualize that GFS on this run here. Show some of the heat that it was showing toward the end of the month here. We can do that, if we can do that. I'm trying to see if this is showing 100 degrees. Yeah, you can see here. This would be next weekend, possibly 100 in Toms River, perhaps. That's crazy. And then the 30th. Look at that, much cooler but it's only showing 8 a.m. All right, so that's as far as we got on this. So you get an idea of what this is doing, basically. So, you know, it all depends on the strength of that cold front next Sunday night, and that's a week away. So I have no way to predict that, but I can tell you that this week's going to be, if you're on Long Island, it won't be too bad, but if you're in Jersey, it's definitely going to be bad. And the other thing is, obviously, it's not going to be cooling off much at night, so if you go to 2 a.m., you can see temperatures still right around 70 degrees. It won't be dropping. That alley is going to be, I'll be lucky if it goes below 80, and I'll have to show you the temperature on the alley each night, I guess, to show you how bad it is. But this is what my air conditioner has to work against. And this is going to really put it to the test here. I'm still waiting for a second air conditioner for my agency. They dragging their feet again on getting me a second one. I clearly need it. They don't see it because they see it's a small apartment, but they don't understand that everything faces that brick wall. It's like I basically live in a furnace. All right. So I think that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather update. And stay cool. Tomorrow will be one more somewhat bearable day, and then I think on Tuesday, that's when you're really not going to want to spend time outside unless you're on the South Shore. So South Shore, you're great. You're golden. But the rest of us, it's going to start getting hot. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.